Okay, we are live. Amazing. So I was having a little giggle before I started recording as I was looking at the clock here on my phone and on my computer, and I could hear myself doing the countdown in my head, and then it wasn't changing. I was like, I'm gonna go live at exactly 10 o'clock. So here we are. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to find me and for the live to appear on the main page so I can pin it to the top. Hello, good morning. I can see people coming through. Hello, hello. Welcome, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Those of you watching on replay, happy whatever day you're watching this. And I know some of you on the live, you're going to watch it again. So, ladies, let's do a little test. Can you comment something? Like a good morning, a hello, your favorite emoji, to test that the chat is working on my phone. Oh, this time I can see it straight away. Yay! Pins are featured, there we go. So yesterday it was just testing me. I was like, it's the first time you've done it in a while, so we'll make it a little bit more complicated, just so you can, practice staying grounded whilst things aren't working out so smoothly. Yes, and the comments are working. Good morning, Ella. Welcome, darling. Oh, Charlotte. Hello. Yay. So what time? You're in Bali, right? Unless you've moved around. So what time is it for you? Maybe it's 3 in the afternoon, that sort of time. Kim, good morning, darling. Francine. Hello, hello. Okay. So I know there will be people, there's lots of you who've messaged me that you're watching on replay, and I've seen you commenting on yesterday's session, and you're going to be doing the same today, right? Those of you watching on replay, comment as though you are taking this live. So we're going to dive straight in, and I've actually got a question to start today because I want to hear more from you today. I want to see your comments popping up. I want to be leaning into my phone and like squinting as I read them so you get to see my close-up face. I really want you to participate today. Yeah, there's something about participation. This is what I love about the Facebook Lives. We get to have a community conversation whilst I'm sharing and inspiring you and activating you. You get to participate in what's being created. So today, to begin, I would like to know, why are you here? What is it that is bringing you to attend these lives? Because this is an investment of your time, right? So we look at, in life we invest different things. We invest our attention, we invest our thoughts, we invest our focus, we invest our time, because it's literally called spending time, right? And a lot of things are renewable, yeah? Time is not a renewable resource. And so being super mindful of where we invest our time, because it is serving us in some way, this is like a huge thing. So why are you choosing to invest your time in this? Why is it important to you? We're going straight in with a big question. Let me come back. Hello, Jays. Matilda, yay. Good morning from snowy Cumbria. Fayla, good morning, darling. On the street and it's freezing. Yeah, it's cold here in Spain as well. It is actually a northerly cold wind this morning. Anita, good morning, darling. So Ella, to get inspired, to learn and to grow. Francine, success, and I love your energy. Beautiful, thank you, darling. Kim, because I know what you can bring, what these sessions bring, inspiration, aha moments and insights. Yes, Kim, so Kim's in the school, right? We've got a few school students who come to all of the things, including the free stuff. And there's something so powerful about it. Let's actually ride on the wave of this, and then we're going to get into what we're doing today. Because it is the continual, repeated aha moments that compound over time that create profound transformation. Let me say that again, because I know a lot of you here, you've been on the path of self-inquiry, of healing, of spiritual practices for a long time. And so you've probably had intense experiences or intensives that you've been on, whether it's retreats, courses, ceremonies, where you go into an experience that takes you to a state, whether it's one day or over a period of days, and you can have huge breakthroughs and it can change your life. And then you come home back to normal stuff, right? And unless you're doing something in between the intensives, so it's the grounded, consistent practice, then a lot of that shift, that transformation can be lost. And grounded transformation that feels safe to hold within your system and that becomes a part of your way of being is this consistent drumbeat of aha moments that expand your mind and your nervous system beyond what is currently normal for you, that creates lasting, safe to hold, lifelong transformation. So these big moments where we feel as though we're having like an awakening, like a mini awakening or a medium one, or sometimes it's like a whoa, those are incredible. And that has its place because maybe it creates a shift in our timeline, a shift in what we're focusing on. And then what is really important, it's like a yoga practice. Let's say you go on a yoga retreat. If you do not practice yoga in between the retreats, are you going to sustain what you gained in the retreat? You know the answer to that. It is the consistent practice in between. This is what really solidifies lasting change. And so what Kim just said, she comes to all of the sessions in the school, all of the free things I host, she's on every single live. Like I think you missed one live, was it like a month ago, Kim? And that was the first time in over a year, including the free stuff. And Kim's experiencing profound shifts in identity and frequency and way of thinking about things because of this. It's this consistent aha moment. Okay, I can see more people have come in. Good morning. Paula, yay! Good morning, Paula, darling. Let me scroll back a little bit. Intuition, the real one. To get a motivational boost. Yes, yes. Yes to all of the things. Sorry, let me open up my notes. Actually, before we get into today, I've got some very exciting news for you. We have something coming up, and it's for very specific women within this space. Very, very specific. And maybe you fall into one of these two categories. So I'm going to be hosting a 90-minute masterclass. It's going to be free because, and there's a reason for this, it's going to be incredibly high value. And the reason I'm giving it for free is because I was going to record this on my camera without anybody participating. And then I realized I love the interactive experience. There is something about you joining in and us having a conversation is just a totally different vibe. And I'm recording this for the school. It's going to be a really powerful thing that we're doing for the school. And I'm offering this for a very short period of time to participate live for an intimate group of people, okay? So this is for you if, one, you are currently in a salaried income and you've been wanting to leave it for a long time. You've been wanting to leave your job, you want to create your own income, you want to set up something that's your own, you're done with building somebody else's dream and living by somebody else's rules, and there's something that's been holding you back from leaving your job. Whether it's fear around the income, not knowing what you're doing, stepping into the unknown, and you want it, and what you're ready for is that little push. Yeah, this masterclass is for you. Secondly, you've just left your job, you've started out on your own, and you're in the void. So you're in the void between who you were and who you're becoming. And that void can last a really long time. So in that void between who you were, who you're becoming, and you're still unsure, you're still in this place of lack of clarity. And what you want is you want clarity, you want courage, you want a framework. If that's you, this masterclass is also for you. If you fall into one of those two, drop the word masterclass in the comments, and then Fela and myself, so Fela is our operations manager, we will put you on the list. Okay, we'll reach out and we'll organize it and we'll get you on the list to attend the masterclass. Okay, so yesterday was about activating you, creating that momentum, because momentum is so important. Yeah, what is it that stops you getting going on the things that you want? It's lack of momentum. Once you start going, those of you who've been on the train of getting fit and then off the train and then on the train and then off the train, you will know that the hardest thing is starting. It's that momentum to get you going. Once you're going, it gets easier and it starts to get more fun. Yeah? So yesterday was about getting you started. Today is about the real conversation. Because it is one thing to get started, and it is another thing to make it through the moments when you want to stop. The moments when you find yourself sabotaging, going into old patterns, not getting the results, plateauing, and then thinking that you're a failure. We all have different patterns, right? We all have different things that get in our way. And so today what we're talking about is, rather than hoping that those moments won't arise, it's acknowledging that they will. It's normal. It happens to all of us, no matter how far we are in our journey. It happens to all of us. You can see, those of us, we're thriving, we're doing insane things. We still have those moments. What makes the difference is we don't assume or hope they won't come. We actually set ourselves up for success, knowing that they will. So we've got a plan. We're like, oh, so here it is. Now I know what to do. So I'm going to give you a random example. Before I had locked in the habit of doing exercise on a regular basis, on a Sunday, I would book into my timetable the days I was doing exercise, and I would write out what I was doing on those days. I would plan my workouts on Sunday. And then when I went to my workouts, so on Monday, I would pick up my workbook or my notebook, and I'd be like, oh, today I'm doing 3 sets of this, 4 sets of that, and 5 sets of this. This is my warm-up, this is my cool-down. And what that did is it stopped me having to think about it, and therefore making it too easy. It was already set out. No excuses. The only times I would adapt it is if I had serious delayed onset muscle soreness and it required that I adapt my workout in some way, or I had a cold, which meant it was only slow strength training or mobility. Yeah, so there were adaptations. So know thyself. I'm going to challenge you, actually. Another question for you. Where do you trip yourself up? What are the things that get in the way of you getting what you want and continuing going until you get what you want? And then beyond that, what do you already know about yourself? So, I can already see people writing masterclass. I love you guys. You're like, yes, I want to participate in it. I love this. Mimi, darling, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Delphine, love this. Okay, we've got a powerhouse of women on the session today. And I know because I've seen comments, those of you watching on the replay as well. So there are two driving forces that drive you to success, that drive you into doing something different, that drive you into setting a goal or focusing on a vision of something new. One of them is very expansive, and one of them is a little bit more challenging. So we're really going to be honing on that one today. Because you can have, very expansively, the desire for more good. You can be in an incredibly good place. Things are going really well. You've seen so much progress in a certain arena of your life. And it can be the desire for more good purely because you can. Not because you need it, not because you're in a bad place, purely because you're like, well, why not get even better than it already is? And this is an incredibly beautiful place to be. So if that's where you're at with the goals that you're setting, amazing. I'm really, really, really happy for you. And there can be a second driving force. That where you're currently at on the arena that you're focusing on, you're in a place that's really challenging. You're in a place that you're no longer willing to tolerate. It's so uncomfortable that you're like, I am done with this. And so a lot of what we're talking about today is that you're either in that second place or you're kind of there. Before we get into that, let's talk about the first one, because this is a really exciting place to be. And I'm going to give you 2 examples so you can really anchor into how you can see this in the context of life. So back when I decided to completely heal my relationship with food. So for those of you who don't know, I had an eating disorder. I had a combination of, it was 3 things. It was body dysmorphia, anorexia, and self-sabotage, which led me to overeating without purging. Okay, so I would ping pong between control and fear, sabotage, control and fear, sabotage, ding dong, ding dong. There was a period of my life that was only control. And then once I cleared that, it was ping-ponging between the 2. And things kept getting better and better and better. And that moment that I gave up sugar was like, it was life-changing. So much transformed in that one decision. My relationship with food just went, my relationship with myself, my relationship with my body, so much transformed with that one decision. And it wasn't easy to follow through on. And then a friend of mine, she said something that triggered me. She said, I only know one person, and I've only ever known one person who has a genuinely healthy relationship with food. And the minute she said that, I was like, in my mind, I was like, no, I have a great relationship with food. And I watched myself as I said it. I was like, oh damn, there's still stuff there to be healed. Things can get even better than they already are. I choose to be, so I then looked at this person that she'd named, and I looked at her and I was like, you know what, yeah. She embodies something that I don't. She's at a level of freedom with her relationship with her body and food that I don't have. I choose that. What does that get to look like for me? And so I spent 2 years intermittent fasting, observing when I was thinking too much about food, it was fear, it was control, it was sabotage. And every single time I found myself going into those patterns, I chose the opposite. I chose the opposite. I chose the opposite. And I anchored in freedom. So now my relationship with food is, I eat when I'm hungry, I stop when I'm full. I eat what tastes good but is healthy, and that's it. Right now I'm cleaning up some sugar things, but it's just because it's about complete freedom. And this is a beautiful place to be. So whatever you're focusing on, maybe that's where you're at. Maybe it's your income and relationship with money. Relationship with love, with your body, with food, with fitness, whatever it may be. This is the place we want to get to. This is like the beautiful vision you get to focus on, where you're at a place where everything is so good that what you are open to seeing is, what if it gets even better? What does that look like? Let's play with that idea. Let's expand into more freedom. Let's expand into more confidence, groundedness in self. Because here's the piece we all know. We live in a society that has us focus a lot on, as women, what we look like, our bodies, our faces, our skin, our hair, all of that. And as we go through the archetypes in life, our physical appearance changes. And so part of the healing journey is seeing the beauty in shifting into those different archetypes, seeing how queenship, our queenship, how beautiful we are, being free and embracing that. So there is always something new to play with. Let me come back to the comments before we go into the next bit. Okay, ADHD, lots of people say masterclass, love this. Me, myself, and I am stopping myself from doing what I desire could be fear or programmed patterns. Inconsistency and laziness. So we're not going to go into this conversation today. This is something we talk about a lot in the school. When you understand your fight or flight responses, like reframing these words and understanding what they are biologically, psychologically, in unconscious mind and body, then we can actually understand what framework we're working with. Yeah, so the framework of what we see as laziness, what fight or flight response is that? Why is it manifesting? What are the What are the programs in you that are actually protecting you? Because this is a thing. Let's finish this thread because it's, you can go away and research it, or you can join the school and we do it together. It's understanding that there are programs in you or parts of your internal family system that are protecting you. And so laziness and inconsistency are potentially protective mechanisms within you. So there is a part of you that believes that it's protecting you. So we meet that part. We understand what its needs are. We understand that it desires to serve you. And then we move from there. Yeah, so there's a huge healing thing happens when, for me it was actually having a conversation with anorexia. So I name her Annie, yeah, and actually speaking with her and understanding she didn't want to hurt me. She wanted to protect me. And so we move towards the same desired goal from a different pattern and framework, and then program that in. I trip myself up due to fear and doubt. I'm also pretty neurodivergent and can struggle with intention and action gap. Okay, another thing, again, we're not going to go deep into this. Language is everything. The words that we use to describe our patterns, our programs, the things we're shifting, our way of being, like changing the language changes everything. So I would shift. Jays, I invite you to play with shifting. I trip myself up due to, up until now, or I've seen a pattern that I can struggle with. I'd shift that as well. Okay, I'd shift that wording to something else, more expansive, more understanding, more kind towards self and towards that part, so that it helps you walk the path together, different elements of self, towards the goal. For some of you, you'd be like, this is going over my head, don't worry. And for others, it will be landing and you'll know what I'm talking about. I need to have holidays, a permission to not do anything for short periods. Okay, I choose to have holidays. I gift myself holidays. And I give myself the permission to do nothing for short periods of time. Otherwise, exercising or studying will become forced, stressed, or performance. Otherwise, I see the pattern of, yeah? Me too, overeating and purging. Okay, ladies, for those of you who've worked with me, you know that I do this. I'm very forward with the things, is to serve, okay? So if I'm forward with the things that I'm suggesting, it's to serve you. I'm healed from that. Food for me is good. Sugar drinks are my problem. Okay. Up until now, sugar drinks have been a problem. From now, what I choose for myself is. I love the idea of being anchored into freedom. Mess in the house is harsh for me. Marie London helps. Okay, amazing. I'm going to come back to comments so we can dive into this. And I invite you to notice patterns you recognize within yourself as I'm sharing the things. Okay. I've got another question for you. This is one also for you to take away and to hold in conscious awareness for a period of time. And this is something that you want to come back to enough so that when you find yourself losing motivation, wanting to sabotage, not wanting to continue, you remember this and you're very clear on this. So you hold this in conscious awareness enough times so that when those moments arise, you're really decisive on not giving up. So my question is, when those moments arise, why is it emotionally important to you to keep going? What's the deep, 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 deep reason why you will not give up on yourself? Why you will not allow fear to dictate who you are and what you do? This is a really big one. Fear can end up dictating so many of the things we focus on, the things we think about, the way that we feel and what we do. There's a song that talks about fear is a liar, because fear is a liar. Fear does not tell you the truth. Fear believes it's protecting you and it's not. And so it is up to us to see the fear and to choose differently. This is exactly what I was doing with the Annie practice, with the food practice. I would see the fear, I would choose not to believe it, and I would walk a different path. Every morning, every evening, every morning, every evening, every morning, every evening, for 2 whole years. Yeah, it wasn't something I did just once to programming into my nervous system, into my identity, into my way of being. Because shifting identity, it's really windy here right now. Shifting identity is about repetition, and it's about being in the environments that show you what is possible, so there is no question in your mind that you can. Let me say this again, and I might need to go and shut a door because there's lots of banging going on. Transformation is created when you're in environments that continually gift you the proof of what is possible for you, so you cease to question it and you allow it for yourself. Because the thing that stops you having what you want is you not allowing it. You resisting it. You believing that you can't. Not here in conscious, beneath that, unconscious, programmed into your nervous system as programs programmed into the subconscious and unconscious mind. So why is it, like, if you do not commit to the thing you're committing to, what is going to happen? And this is a really big question. What's going to happen if you don't commit? If you don't follow through? If you give up? And I invite you to play with this, not just today, every single day. Get super clear on the discomfort you are not willing to tolerate anymore. And the reason for this is actually it's your biology. You are biologically wired to move away from pain and towards pleasure. Away from pain and towards pleasure. And so if you can see that non-action, that giving up on yourself, doing what is easiest over what is best, is leading you towards pain, then you will be more willing to take action and make the effort to lead you towards pleasure. So there's 2 parts to this. What is the pleasure? What is the joy, the excitement, the magic, clarity, what it is you're moving towards? But also clarity of the pain that you are not willing to tolerate. That you acknowledge that the pain of non-action is bigger than the pain of effort. Let me say that again. The pain of non-action, the pain of giving up on yourself, the pain of allowing the voice of fear to take over is much bigger than the pain of non-action, than the pain of putting the effort in. Because we can see effort as pain. And I'm actually going to take you through this, and you're going to have a lot of aha moments with this, of what causes us to believe that not following through is the best thing to do. So many times we are lazy because we think that the opposite is painful unconsciously. I've got some really good notes for today. I'm going through and I'm like, well, I haven't said that yet. I haven't said this yet. So I shared with you yesterday, shed a few tears, that last year was my first ever 6-figure year, 6-figure cash year. It blows my mind, and it makes logical sense because of everything that I did to lead up to that moment. And also, like, this month, I presumed it was going to be a lower cash month because I'd taken time off. And it's going to be a really high cash month again, which is wonderful. It blows my mind and it makes logical sense. So I set myself this goal some time ago. My partner's just here. I set myself this goal some time ago to create financial freedom, to heal my relationship with money. I became so aware. I had this aha moment one day on my balcony that my relationship, I'd never focused on my relationship with money. I'd never built a relationship with money. I was like, oh, I hadn't even thought to do that. And so I embarked on this journey of healing my relationship with money, of creating a trusting relationship with money and everything that entailed. And I'm not going to pretend that it was an easy path. so many things came to the surface, and so much was required of me. It required me to get uncomfortable again and again and again and again, and to stretch myself beyond my comfort zone to get to the point that a 6-figure year is just the beginning. How I've now set myself up, a 6-figure year is just the beginning. And it's about repeating and compounding and repeating and compounding because of everything that I did in the last 2 years. So some of my notes here, and I'm going to come back to your comments in a moment. To set things up, I started my business from scratch. So this is why this masterclass that I'm going to be teaching is going to be really powerful, because maybe you've already got a business, but you're starting something new from scratch. If that's you, the masterclass is going to be fabulous as well. I started from scratch. I gradually dissolved everything I'd done up until that point. So I built 3 businesses. And I dissolved everything I'd done up until that point, and I started from scratch. And it was really scary. And I was a beginner again. And I was doing a whole bunch of things I'd never done. With all of the wisdom that I had, that I'd learned from everything I'd done up until then, but channeling it into something I'd never done before. So a complete beginner. Like creating programs, doing Facebook Lives, selling high ticket, increasing my prices, going live on my Instagram, hosting lives like this, promoting myself, marketing myself in ways I'd never done before. And it required I do a lot of things, like getting comfortable with massively increasing my prices and not being affordable for everybody. This was a huge one for me. With healing my relationship with money, I'd been too affordable for too long. And this is a big one for those of you when you're joining the masterclass. This is going to be really useful. Keep us amor. Money. I'm going to try not to get distracted by my gorgeous partner in the background. I had spent so long being affordable. And I thought that I was doing good by being affordable. And I was breaking myself. I was at breaking point. By being affordable to everybody and being able to serve everyone, I was actually serving a lot less than I potentially could. Because I was burning myself out, I was working myself to the bone. And so a huge part of healing my relationship with money was being okay and being comfortable with not everybody being able to afford working with me. And what ensued was a level of transformation that my clients were getting that weren't possible before. Being able to hold them to a different standard in their finances. One of the big things that happened when I shifted that in myself is that shifted in my clients. It wasn't me that decided to become a business coach, it was my clients that asked me to, because I was holding a different standard for them. Like one of the first students that joined the school, she came in for one reason, and then her business started changing like this. She started reducing anxiety by getting rid of things in her business she didn't want to do anymore, that weren't aligned anymore, because of what I was doing, what I was healing, because I was modeling that. So also know that by what you're doing, because I know a lot of you hold space for others, what you heal within yourself, what you transform, and the standard that you hold for you is what you then normalize for the people that you serve. And this was a big one. It felt really uncomfortable not being affordable for everyone, and leading myself through that and holding myself through it. Another big one was to heal my relationship with money. I had to heal my relationship with being visible, with people not liking me, with people disagreeing with me, with not being for everybody. This was a big thing. To get to my first 6-figure year, I had to get comfortable with people disliking me, with people writing hateful comments, with people getting angry because I put my prices up. I had to get comfortable with that. For me to no longer tolerate anxiety with money, I had to be okay with me. Integrity in self, in knowing that who I was being, how I was showing up, the standards I was holding, the boundaries I was holding were in integrity. You disagree with it, I'm okay. You don't like my pricing, that's okay. You want me to be cheaper, you ask me for a discount, I don't do that. And being okay with it. And the first initial period, it was uncomfortable, holding that standard, holding the standard, holding the standard. And so on your journey to whatever it is up to you to hold the standard non-circumstantially, no matter what other people around you are saying. Because as you raise your standards, it will make the people around you who have been comfortable with the standard you've mirrored to them up until that point, there will be people who are uncomfortable because of that. And they will want you to stay the same. And so some of it is not just about you, yourself, and you. It is also about the people that surround you. And being able to, it's not about you putting a wall around yourself and protecting you, no, because that's defensive. You get to lead with an open heart and being okay with heartbreak. There are moments that our hearts break because we're keeping our hearts open. We're not putting those walls around us, and we're holding the standard, and we're holding the fact that other people get to have the story around you that they have about you, and that is okay. People get to give other people the freedom to think and feel what they think and feel about you without trying to change it, without trying to determine what they think. It is not up to you to decide. It is up to you to be in integrity with you, to hold a standard for you, to expand into what you're here to be, to model that for yourself. So you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm proud of who I am. And if it triggers other people, it triggers other people. One day those people who are triggered may come back and say thank you. Whether they not do or not, it doesn't matter. But you will probably find a lot will. And a lot will say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't see what I couldn't see at that time. And it is not about other people are bad. This is not the narrative. It's about you holding the standard for you. Oh, there's lots of amazing comments. Where were we up to? I hate the phrase no pain, no gain. Okay, so how can you reframe that for you, for yourself? What is the reframe? Because we can resist stuff. And this is the thing to move forwards in life. I think I talked about this yesterday, growing pains, or maybe in an audio in the WhatsApp group. If you choose to grow fast, there will be growing pains, full stop. You can't grow fast without growing pains. It's not possible because there are parts of your identity that will need to dissolve. There will be patterns within you that will grasp ego, holding on to what it knows. It says, this, I know this is familiar, let's do this. It will hold on. And so it's up to you to determine to do what's easiest or to grow. And this is one of the things I actually have on the list, things that hold people back, things that will get in your way of you getting everything you want in your life, is making discomfort bad, of labeling discomfort as a bad thing. You cannot grow without discomfort. It doesn't work that way. So, and this is one of the things, like those of you who are on a fitness journey or you're in the field of fitness, the reason that people who are super committed to fitness are very successful in business is because we have no problem with discomfort. We actually enjoy it. If when I'm lifting a weight, I do not feel effort in my body, I'm not talking about pain that leads towards injury, I'm talking about the discomfort of effort itself, the discomfort of leaning into my edges. If I do not feel that discomfort, I know I'm not progressing. I enjoy the feeling of pushing a weight. I enjoy the feeling of doing another burpee and being like, I like that feeling. I've learned to like the feeling. Because these are the edges that most people are not willing to go to. And this is why success is simple. Getting everything you want is simple. The only thing that gets in the way is the list we're going to go through today. I love the fact that you share the things and it brings things through. So let me share one last thing, because I know lots of you here are in business. Something that I had to navigate to get to what I achieved last year and what is coming this year. I failed a lot. There are a lot of things that didn't work, and it didn't feel great. There were launches that I put so much into, and nobody signed up. I remember one specific launch. It was like 0. And it's the capacity to have that and to still keep going. To come back to belief in your vision. Come back to why you're doing what you do. Maybe you see people who are thriving and growing fast and assuming that these things don't happen. It's just we always get it right. And that's not true. It's the fact that we don't avoid failure. We know that failure is part of the journey. We know that getting it wrong, being a beginner, messing it up, having to call ourselves out, having to publicly say, I got that wrong, I could have done it differently, next time it will be different. Being comfortable with owning your stuff, owning it, not projecting anything onto anyone else. Full responsibility for everything. This is freedom. This is empowerment. This is trusting yourself. When you take responsibility, it doesn't mean that you allow people to treat you the way that they want. It's you taking full responsibility for who you are, for how you show up, and for the results that you get. Because a huge thing that gets in people's way is being afraid to fail. And then failing and using that as evidence to not try again and to not go again. Those of us who you see growing fast, we fail and we keep going, and we keep going, and we keep going. We refine, we adapt, we go again. And so there were tears in those 2 years. There were moments that I lost faith. And I know that there will be moments like that again. It's about knowing that on this journey, the part of the beauty of it is getting back up again. Part of the beauty of this journey is falling down and getting back up. You get back up and you see that progress. You see yourself moving forwards. And it's like, oh, it was really hard to start, and yet here I am. That first, getting off the starting block, the first few 100 meters, I felt like I wouldn't be able to complete the race. And yet look at me, here I am, halfway through, and I'm still going. So part of the joy of the human experience is that it's hard. Okay, let me come to the comments. Okay, effortless hard work is better, or I could go on another rant from that one. If I don't commit, I will return to a life of fear, doubt, ill health, and towards a scarcity mindset, and this would deprive me of flourishing and being abundant. Amazing, yes. So effortless hard work is amazing, yes. And to get to that point requires effort-based work. To get to effortless, effort must come first. We can't just jump into effortless. There is effort before the ease. Then we reach ease, and then there's effort again. And then we reach more ease, so we're consistently going up, yeah? Effort, ease, effort, ease, effort, ease. This is how it works. The effort in and of itself is joy. And this is one of the things, and why I always come back to the fitness analogy. Enjoying the effort is what's going to move you forwards. Hating the effort will get in your way. So how do you reframe falling in love with the effort? There's so much I want to share with you, but that's where I'll leave that for now. If I don't continue to commit my path, I will lose so much that I've gained so far, and I will return to a life of survival rather than thriving. In those moments, And listen to these words. This is powerful. Yeah? What Jade just said. In these moments, when it's so easy to say, I'm going to give up. Why bother? I'm not seeing the results yet. When the voice of fear comes in, we anchor back into why it's important. Every single time fear or control around food would come in, and I could see myself beginning to follow, because it's a really easy path to follow. Fear shouts loud. Fear is powerful. Fear can control us. And so every single time I'd hear that voice, I'd see myself moving in that direction, I'd snap out of it. I would visualize my timeline of following that voice. I would see what my future was looking like. And I would live it viscerally in my mind, in my imagination. And then I would ask myself, what do I choose to do now? Do I choose that timeline? Is that what I want for myself? It's powerful in those moments to take yourself there, to snap back, and then to put in the effort to choose differently. Sometimes it's the opposite to me. Instead of doing and acting, I need to learn to not do. Leave it. Let others. It's more difficult for me to not act, not take responsibility, not react, not let it influence me and my nervous system. I have practiced this for the previous year. Something changed already. I feel more patient a little. Okay, so Paula, what is your unconscious telling you will happen? There is a protective mechanism in you here that's telling you it's important to react, it's important to take responsibility, it's important to take on everything and to do everything. So it's about going into that pattern and program, acknowledging what it desires and shifting it. So what is it telling you? What is it wanting to lead you towards? Even though it's causing you to suffer in the now, it believes it's leading you to a better future. It believes it's keeping you safe. What I'm hearing here is safety and certainty. Those are the two things that program is anchoring for you. Safety and certainty. I'm addicted to volunteer work. Okay, so many amazing comments. Okay, keeping an eye on time, because it's Dia de los Reyes here in Spain, so it's King's Day, and we're going on a hike in the mountains after my live today. So I'm going to set you another homework, because your path to everything you desire is going to require that you show up for yourself and you choose that timeline non-circumstantially. So yesterday I was inviting you to get clear on what is your vision. And what are you prioritizing? What is your vision? The second question is, what will happen if you don't commit? This third part is showing up non-circumstantially. So there is something, I remember Tony Robbins saying this a really long time ago. So I went through a period where I was like super into Tony Robbins, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And he shared this story of how in the mornings he has his morning practice. You know, he does, those of you who know Tony Robbins, he does his breath work and some other stuff. And then he jumps into a plunge pool. And this plunge pool is a temperature that takes your breath away. It's so cold. And he said something that changed me, because I then chose this for myself and have done ever since. When he goes to jump in the pool, there are thoughts in his mind that are telling him, oh, you've done it every single day this week. You can take a day off. It's okay. Or maybe you're getting a little bit of a cold. Maybe today is a day that it's best not to jump in the cold water. Oh, just go in up to your waist. It's fine. You've been doing so well so far. And he said, thoughts will come to my mind. I do not even flirt with those thoughts. I'm now putting in my own words. He probably didn't use the word flirt. I don't even flirt with those thoughts. I see they're there. I don't pay any attention to them. I'm going in the water. See or see, I'm going in the water. He does not allow the thoughts that arise in the moment to determine the actions he has chosen previously. He decides what's required and he does it. That's why he's so successful. He decides what is required and he does the things. So, what is your plunge pool? Like, what is required of you for you to get what you want? And it's not about in the moment when the plunge pool is right there and you're just about to jump in and the thoughts in your mind are telling you all of the reasons why you can let yourself off the hook, and you choose to not pay any attention to those thoughts and you jump in the pool anyway. What is the plunge pool for you? What are the non-questionables that are leading you to success? Okay. I'm going to wrap it up for today with some clarity for you. I'll mention a little bit of what we're doing in the school, because I know there are some of you who are interested in joining us. I'll share a bit more about the school tomorrow. So, next steps for you. You've got your vision. You've got the reason why you won't give up. Then it's about creating your plan. Like, what's your plunge pool? What are your non-questionables that are required to get you to where you want to go? What we're going to be doing tomorrow, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I got so excited about the masterclass. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing. All I can tell you is this training, some of you taken it with me before, giving you a little hint, this training is going to change the game for you. This training is going to help you to understand what is going on in your mind and your nervous system that stops you getting what you want. You're going to have so many aha moments with this training. It's going to be a lot of fun as well. So what comes next? When you are setting yourself up for success, what makes the difference is the following. Creating a plan, looking for the spaces in the environment, and then acknowledging, know thyself, knowing how you're going to sabotage your success, and then acknowledging in advance what you're going to do in those moments. So on this path, you are going to be observing when you sabotage, when you procrastinate, when you don't do the things, and then become the observer of the human having the experience. This is where you get to hold the dual perspective, and I invite you to do this in life all of the time, the dual perspective of being the human and the observer of the human having the experience. Being the human having the emotions, the human having the thoughts, the human going through the things, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, and then the one observing the human going through the things. Because this observer is gaining the wisdom to know how to guide the human. Because you are both, and you play both roles. You have the depth of the human experience, and then you guide the human having the depth of the human experience. So these are some of the things that we go through in the school. Because being successful, the school is specifically for women in business or women wanting to set up a business, okay? Wanting to create income streams and wanting to build their own projects. Strategy is fun. Strategy is simple. Strategy is easy. In fact, I'm writing a business manual now with all of the processes of strategy. Strategy is simple, just as it is moving towards your goals. What gets in your way is the human part of the experience. The programs, the fears, the emotions, and being so involved in that, in the identity, in the stories, in the feelings. Magic happens when we can be both the human and the observer, and as the observer and the guide, higher self, whatever you want to call it, we guide the human towards the timeline we wish to have for ourselves. And on this journey, what's going to happen is so much healing. So we have 3 levels in the school. We've got level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is where we do the personal development work. It's the healing along your path. You have your goal. Level 2 is about the goal, the business. What is it you're setting up? What's the income that you desire? As you're moving towards the goal and the stuff comes up for you, we do the healing work. So you're continually expanding into versions of yourself that's more grounded, more at peace with who you are, more grounded in your nervous system. And then strategy flows. So level 3 in the school, and I've gone straight into telling you what the school is about, straight into the sale, yeah. But it's really beautiful. Whether you want to join now or in the future, it's beautiful to know how this system works. So level 3 in the school, we've got a certification program. We actually have people who join the school for the cert who don't run a business because they want to dive really deep into advanced practices, yeah. So the people in the certification are twofold. It's women wanting to become master coaches and spiritual mentors who already have a lot of wisdom, and what they're wanting to do is take it into a system where they can coach people, where they can create programs, where they can hold space at a really high level and charge high ticket. Then there's the group who are wanting to do the healing work. A lot of women in the space are experienced advanced practitioners. So you can imagine the type of conversations we're having. We're not talking beginner, we're talking advanced. Doesn't matter whether you're advanced or not. Imagine being in a space where everybody there is really advanced on the path, how much that expands you, how much that calls you to calibrate up, the standards that holds for you, being in a space like that for 12 months, what that does for you. These sorts of conversations we're having today, but in a group, in an intimate setting, high level, on a regular basis. That's what the school is about. So, you know your homeworks. I was about to tell you the pricing. I'm like, oh, I don't know what the pricing is of this part of our launch. I can tell you the full pricing, and it's just below the full price. So we're just about to start our second round of the certification and our second round of the memberships of the new memberships in the school. Okay, we're finishing the new lot, the first round of the memberships, the end of January. Very exciting, the first year of them. When we go to full price, to join us at level 2 is 10,000 euros and to join us at level 3 is 15,000. We're in the phase just before that, so it's just below those prices. I will write those out and I'll put them in a post in the Facebook group. Okay, ladies. For today, I would like you to put in the chat, there's lots of comments here, so I'm going to spend some time after the hike going through your comments, finding what's going on for you, so that tomorrow I come in clear, knowing how I can best support you, knowing what you're bringing to the table, okay? I'd love for you to drop in the chat before we sign off for today. What are you committing to doing over the next few days? What's your focus? What's your priority? What are you focusing on? What are you going to be doing? I'd like you to proclaim that in the comments so that I can hold you accountable, so that you know the other women in the space have heard what you've proclaimed to make it real. And then once you've done that, we will sign off for today. I love this. My plunge pools are going to bed at a sensible time so I can fully function the next time, going for a walk each day, no matter how short, getting outside and away from the at-home online work. Love this. Even if it's to walk to, put out, I know in the UK you don't do this, you don't put the rubbish out outside. In Spain, we take the rubbish outside to down the street. So even if it's literally doing that, you're walking to the end of the street, it is building the habit of doing something every day, of putting on the clothing and leaving the house. So the days that you only have 5 minutes or 10 minutes, think about that. You're building the habit of doing the action. Prioritizing myself again. A list of contacts for my project in research and Reiki. Focus 1 is my self-care plan. That's why we have a private session tomorrow. Yes, can't wait for that, Kim. Hello, darling. Cleansing the body and mind. Good morning. I'm working tomorrow, but thank you a million for the focus. Of course, you're very welcome, Paula. Making a concrete plan on how to go about it and not listen to the voice in my head that talks me out of it. Yes. Anybody else before we sign off? We've done really well with time. My plan was to get all of this in 60 minutes and right on time. If you've been taking my sessions for a while, you know that I often go over time, quite a bit. Preparing for my website for the launch of my first personal transformation program feels both scary and exciting to go out there public and show myself. Okay, Ella, love this for you. What I invite you to do is KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And I'm not calling you stupid. This is what's it called? In the fitness industry. Simple, actionable steps that you know exactly what to do, set it up, write it down, start with step 1, not step 10, and then go in that order. So what's the first thing you can do today? Take action on it straight away without even thinking about it. Mimi, I'll focus on my eating habits, making my new circle alive to have people engaged and fix the date of my next open mic. Amazing. I'll say the same again. When we've got something broad, like I'll focus on my eating habits, what's step 1? I love this. Your hour feels like 10 minutes. Pure joy. Beautiful. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds in case there are more comments coming up, and then we'll sign off. And I will see you again tomorrow. Okay, we are good. Ladies, I love you all. Thank you. Thank you for your amazingness. Thank you for the energy you bring to the space. Thank you for going all in. I will see you tomorrow for the incredible training. And for those of you you're interested in, I will send you the masterclass details as soon as it's ready. And for those of you who are interested in the school, send me a DM so I can send you the brochure and you can look at the options, or we can have a direct chat. Okay? Hasta mañana.